Hey there, this is Gary Zimak from followingthetruth.com with a little message to help you move from fear to faith. Man, we are in some unbelievable times right now. I have never seen anything like this in my life with the coronavirus, but here's the good news. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. That's it. In the scriptures, Hebrews 13:8, we're told that message, which is so true. He has not changed. So even though the news changes every day, every time we turn on the TV or look on the internet, something else is happening, which could easily send us into panic. Jesus does not change. And my friends, here's the situation. You need to remember that. If you're going to find any peace at all in these trying times, Jesus Christ is here, He's with us, and He does not change. He knew this was coming. This is no surprise to Him. But for us, this gives us a great opportunity to be able to trust Him in the midst of the storm. And there's no doubt, we're in a storm right now. If you are afraid, if you are concerned, you are absolutely justified. There is reason to have fear. There is reason to be concerned, but that fear should move us closer to Jesus. In Matthew 11:28, He says something that I think is one of my favorite Bible verses of all time. It's one that I use frequently in my own life and when I speak. Jesus said this is the offer to you today. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That's the offer for you. There are no strings attached. No one is left out. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. And that's most of us right now, right? And I'll give you rest. The secret to finding peace and rest in the midst of this craziness is keeping your eyes on Jesus. And I just wanted to share something with you briefly. The story of Peter walking on the water. You know, we've heard that story. I've read it many times. I use it at all my parish missions and my talks. Never did I imagine it would be used in the context of this coronavirus and the shutdown. Virtually the entire country or most of the world is being shut down right now. But the message is still pertinent. I think it applies more now than ever. Keeping your eye on Jesus and coming to Him in this time of crisis is the way you're going to find peace. Matthew 14, verse 22. Immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of Him to the other side while He dismissed the crowd. Was He setting them up? Absolutely. He was leading them into a difficult situation. They're going to encounter some turmoil on the Sea of Galilee. Why does He do that? He does that to them for the same reason He does it for us. He wants to increase our faith. He wants to give us an opportunity to trust Him more. Do I like that? No. I wish there was another way to do it. But it works. And right now, we're given an incredible opportunity to trust Jesus. That's something only you and me can do. He can't do that for us. He needs us to do that. Do you trust Him? After Jesus dismissed the crowd, He went up to a mountainside by Himself to pray. That's another great piece of advice. Spend time in prayer. You got to spend 5-10 minutes a day at a minimum in prayer. You don't know what to say? Sit there with Jesus and say, Jesus, I want to get to know you. Jesus, I don't know what to say. Jesus, I'm scared. That's the only way you'll ever get to know Him and the only way you're ever going to find peace in your life. That's it. You just got to do that. If Jesus found time to pray, and of course He was talking to His Father, He wasn't talking to Himself. If He found time to do that, we need to do the same thing. Later that night, Jesus was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. So here we are, with the disciples in the boat, in the storm, being pushed around by the waves, and Jesus doesn't seem like He's with us. Does that sound familiar? Exactly. That's the situation we're in right now. Shortly before dawn, and in some translations it reads the third watch of the night. You know when that is? 3 to 6 a.m. That time when us worrying types wake up and begin to panic. Shortly before dawn. It's always darkest before dawn. Did you ever hear that expression? We're there right now, my friends. But look what happens. Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw Him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and they cried out in fear. They didn't recognize Jesus in the midst of the storm. Do we ever do that? Yeah. You got to turn off the news sometime and put your eyes back on the Lord. But Jesus immediately said to them, take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Let me read that again because he's speaking that word to you as well. Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Now, he didn't say I'm going to take the storm away. He just said, don't be afraid because I'm with you. Remember that. He's here. He's with us. And then Peter said, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. Peter was stricken by this sight of Jesus. And he saw Jesus. And he remembered that offer. Come to me, all you who labor and are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And Peter said, even though you're on the water, Jesus, and I know as a fisherman that it's not possible to walk on the water, I'm going to come to you if it really is you. And Jesus said, come. Again, there's that invitation, come. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But, see, he was walking on the water. It was working. He was doing the impossible because he was looking at Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. When you turn on the news, when you dwell on the news, we need to be prepared. We need to know what's going on. But if we dwell on nothing but the bad news and predictions from people who really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, let's be honest. Only God knows what's going to happen. But if we dwell on that and focus on the waves and the storm and the bad news, we're going to sink too. What did Peter do? He realized his mistake. And he cried out, Lord, save me. That's our prayer. That should be your prayer and my prayer for today. Lord, save me. That's a prayer Jesus will answer. Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and he caught him. You of little faith, he said, why did you doubt? Ouch, right? We doubt every day. You need to focus on God's word and spend time with him in prayer. As a Catholic, I'm deprived of the sacraments right now. I can't receive Holy Communion. I can't go to the sacrament of confession at the moment. That doesn't mean I don't have an encounter with Jesus every day. He is still in control. But we need to make that conscious choice to turn to him. Will you do that today? If you do, I promise you're going to have peace. I want you to hang in there. We'll get through this. He's with us. He promised he will not go anywhere. If you want to connect with me, visit my website, followingthetruth.com, or catch me on Facebook. We're going to get through this, I promise. I'm praying for you. Please pray for me. Be not afraid.